You know, I just want to point out that you're doing a great job as Alex Trebek this morning, because every time Ernie says something, you have to check with the judges to see if we can allow that answer to air on the TV and the radio or not.
If he would only answer in the form of a question, it would change everything for me.
I do bring the paperwork to prove it. I'll always have the source of everything I say.
Okay, Ernie, I wanted to ask you something personal.
Go ahead.
I did ask the question. You did own the Columbia, the bar down on Columbia Street.
Yes, I did.
And are you the one that took out those windows?
Yes, I did.
Why would you do that? It ruined the whole look of the place.
Well, the reason why I took them out is they were getting vandalized. The first year that I was there on St. Patrick's Day, the people got there. Every window was knocked out of the building. Thank you to a glass company that came in and replaced them all. But the second problem was they were single pane. So
so they weren't
they weren't energy efficient.
Yeah.
And the cost to replace them at their sizes.
Hold on, I have something I got to do. Can I interrupt you just for a second to take a brief moment? New York Sash does replacement windows.
You can't put those windows. They just wouldn't look good.
That is so not true. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you.
You know what? Maybe I should have you do my advertising.
I'm going to tell you why.
Yes,
because
I think November will be even better. Any calls yet?
When we had our windows put into our home using New York Sash, we had a special window in the front of the house. It was old, single pane. And it had many little panes. And they didn't have any window like that at all. We had one that they made a custom-made window for us. It looked beautiful. And I'm telling you, it keeps the cold air out in the wintertime and the cool air in the summertime. You could have kept that same look by talking to the people at New York Sash. They also do bathrooms, by the way, and their 30% off sale is going on this month. New York Sash or NewYorkSash.com. I'm just saying, Ernie.
You know what the sad part of that building is? You know what the sad part of that building will be?
The Columbia?
Is that going to go down as part of the hospital?
That will also go down as part of the hospital, and that's the sad part. Okay, that's just a beautiful building.
Are you against the hospital downtown there?
Yes, I am. Okay. I'm against, and let me clarify this because I've gotten a lot of people have asked me the same question. I am against anything that costs the taxpayers more money. If it costs the people, I am against it, and I will not support it. That includes the hospital. That includes the parking garage.
How do you eat?
What about paving and stuff like that, the additional paving?
If it these people have paid a 25% tax increase. Okay, I mean, they've paid, the city has collected more than $6.5 million a year more from these people.
And
gave them nothing.
Would you be for, if money invested was well invested and actually came back to the people, you'd have to be for that, right?
Well,
you would be against that too.
Well, here's my thing, and last time I was here, you even said it. I believe in a reoccurring revenue. I feel that the city needs to bring back the tax sale to be made whole. Every dime they're owed, they receive. They won't have to short-term borrow. They won't have to do anything, and then they will have the money they need to pay the school and everybody else. I believe in reoccurring revenues.
Right.
I believe in redevelopment. I believe that when you redevelopment, you get rid of urban renewal and go to a real estate.
I want to end, because I can only go a couple more minutes here. Manansky had some people that were asking some questions and clarifying some things.
All right.
Well, yeah.
That's what I wanted you to hang around for.
Well, this whole, again, back to the 18 properties, there seems to be a dispute as to whether or not you controlled, you oversaw, you owned the company.
No involvement in these specific...
No, I did. I left these properties in 2011.
Okay.
Okay. This was an out-of-town company that hired my company to collect its money and do its evictions. This had nothing to do with my company paying this company's bills.
But you had some dealings with you were involved. You knew the addresses of these properties that he was talking about.
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue because I left in 2011.
Okay.
Okay,
so
I left in 2011. This is 2014.
What he said, he had no involvement.
No,
you had zero. Like, you don't even know what he's talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Okay, and this is, you got to remember, I ran in 2011. I set my campaign in 2010. I even had closed my businesses in 2011, along with any other companies that had us do collections.
I'm sorry, two questions, and I'll be really quick. One is, What's being alleged here, so I can stop beating around the bush, is that these properties, which Mr. Morehouse is trying to tie to you,
Right.
as he did yesterday,
Right.
were gutted, basically. All the pipes were gone. It's being referred to as shells. There were shells of houses.
well,
Anything of value inside the house, including piping, wiring.
Let me address that.
And then you let it go.
I will. Let me address that.
All right. Have you ever
Okay.
done that before? Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I can address that. Oh, I
Okay.
can address that 100%.
All right.
I think, Bill, you know that for over a quarter of a century I've been in this town. Over 20 years I've done business in the city of Utica.
Well, I know that now. Yeah, I know you've
Between
been around.
the
I just didn't-
restaurants,
yeah.
between
Sure.
the commercial, between the residential. The city of Utica, and I had mentioned this before to the council, has had a plaguing problem on copper theft. Okay, grocery carts are going down to the recycling centers and this and that. I have put copper in my houses over the years that when I went to put a tenant in an apartment, we always say, okay, here's the water, because we do a checklist,
Yeah.
and codes would have to come in also and do the list. But then you go to the faucet to turn the water on, and there'd be no copper. You go into the basement, all the copper would be gone. They cut it with
Yeah.
things. Even the furnaces would be gone. Okay, it's like overnight
Air
this
conditioning.
happens.
People would steal the air
I mean,
conditioners.
Well, they didn't get central air.
okay.
You
All right,
don't
so that
put
wouldn't-
central air in apartments.
Yeah.
But I mean, I even went to the extent to sleep in a house one night to try to catch somebody. I mean, that's a plaguing issue within the city of Utica that you can't contain, that you can't control. But anytime that you have a
So you're
vacant
saying
house,
you didn't strip it? That
no,
other people
no,
did.
no. And if he implied that, people that know me know that that's not true.
Okay, all
They
right.
knew that I was fighting that problem with my own. But the problem is when you have vacant properties, you have vagrants, and you have people. This
All right.
is what happens.
Okay.
And the thing is, and Bill, please let me touch on it.
I am.
If you
You've
have
been
the tax
touching
sale
all morning long.
and the houses are taken by foreclosure, people still live in these houses so that they're not stripped. So it's a win-win for the city because they're not vacant and they won't get stripped. Also,
All
it's you can't take a house and then leave it sitting because it will get stripped.
We will reach out to Mr. Morehouse to see if he'd be willing
Well,
to.
has he called yet? With my apology.
I love the show
No,
you
I'm
put on
sorry.
today.
I
do.
mean, I wish he called, but I would like at least 2 debates with a man. I have a lot more.
Okay.
This is the last
Sure.
one, very quick. You said earlier you had to get out of business so that you could run for public
And I will
office.
tell you why. And
Why is that?
I will explain that. Because when you're in business, and when you're in the business that I am, I mean, I've done hundreds and hundreds of evictions over the years. And, yeah, there's no question. I'm sure I have haters out there. A lot of court cases that I've, done, and a lot of deals I've done over the year. And I've done very well, and I will do that same for the city. But I didn't want the conflict. I didn't want the conflict of something happening at one of the bars. And they'd say, oh, Ernie Sanita owns that one. Or something happening at one of the houses.
Okay.
Oh, Ernie Sanita owns that one. So I cleared myself in 2010. And they can't crucify me for having mortgages. But they could crucify me for having tangibles like the buildings.
All right.
I understand.
All right. Well, let's see if we get a debate. I do believe Tim Julian yesterday said.
And while
didn't-
Can
Go
I
ahead.
address that also?
You-
Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
so glad I did.
Mr. Julian and I have no lost feelings towards each other.
Okay.
If you remember correctly, I don't know if you do remember, but it was Mr. Julian who did away with the tax sale that cost the people of the city of Utica millions of dollars. Instead of seeing $2 million a year on a tax sale, they're lucky if they see $200,000 through urban renewal, and then that money gets spent on administrative costs.
All right.
It was Mr. Julian that caused that mess. And Mr. Julian lost his election, and Mr. Julian knows why he lost his election, and I'm not going to bring that up.
Thank you. I don't want. I don't. Know
I
if
don't
you have
want to
any
be
more delay
bleeped.
left.
Right. I don't want to be bleeped. And I saw that look coming out of your face saying, Ernie,
Well,
don't
why,
say it.
I'm curious though. Why did he lose that election?
I don't want to say any names. You're going to bleep me.
Okay. All right.
I could say it, but then I'm
That's
gonna
all right.
be
Well,
bleeped,
then
and
say
you're
it.
gonna
We'll
say,
bleep you.
I don't want to get sued.
No, he can
I
say it
mean-
during the commercial. I think he's going
I
down
will
a
say it when you
dangerous
go to
road.
commercial.
All right. Well, I don't like leaving with.
You don't want me to say this.
I don't
on
like
the air. You'll bleep
leaving
me.
with a cloud where you've
I don't wanna
implied
be bleeped.
something. And
I'd like to win an election in November 7th. I don't want to be bleeped, and I'm asking
you think
everybody
this
for
moment
the
could
support.
cost you the election.
Okay, I will. Let me say,
Yeah.
I will, as your comptroller, which you have not had in 4 years, report to City Hall each and every day in a sober and professional manner.
Pat O'Connor is on the line here. That was a low blow right there, I feel.
Why?
Pat O'Connor is on the line right now, who is the mayor of Whitesboro, who has a question. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Wonderful. It's been quite the hour.
It is. It's very entertaining. I had one question for Mr. Sanita. You guys touched on it in the beginning. The question is, how many signatures did you need to get on the ballot to be able to run for this office? And why in God's name did you only collect 11 of them?
I'm glad you answered that, or
Well, he
asked
asked,
that,
actually.
asked that, and I'd be happy to answer it. When I was talking with all of the parties, they had asked me...
How many did you need, first of all?
I think it was like 500.
You needed 500.
I needed 500.
You personally
and I
collected
did
11.
personally do 11, and,
Okay.
and I will explain it, and that's a great one because a lot of people want to know why he wasn't out talking to people.
Well, let's just cut to the chase. Get
Okay,
the
cut
answer.
to the chase.
Yeah.
I had said to the Republican Party, first on the other two parties, I did not hold a commissioner of deeds in time to get those petitions,
Okay.
being a member of the Republican Party. Second, I had informed the Republican Party that I had commitments out of town during the petition process, and I thank the Republican Party and I thank the committee members for getting those petitions done.
All right. That's the reason.
That's the
you had
reason.
prior
I was out of
commitments.
town, and I'd informed them that I wouldn't be in town.
Mayor, do you accept that question?
No, it's garbage.
That
So
answer?
you were
Sorry.
out of town for 5 or 6 weeks because that's typically how long the petition process is.
Yes, actually, I was.
What were you
So-
doing out of town for that time?
Well, I have family that lives out of town.
Okay.
Okay, and they had some problems, so I was out of town.
Got it.
Okay.
That wouldn't happen to you when you were comptroller, right? I mean, you would not have to leave to leave town for if you became
you got to
comptroller.
remember this election was. I had gotten a call originally from Zena, who was chair of another party, and he said, "Why aren't you running?" And I says, "Well, I've got commitments right now." Okay, and you got to remember when a party reaches for you, you have to drop everything. I couldn't drop a commitment.
All right, fair enough. That's the answer, Pat. Mayor, thank you for the question. I thought that was a good question.
Have a good day, guys.
All right, Mayor Pat O'Connor in Whitesboro. All right, I'll tell you this: you'll be a hell of a lot more entertaining than Bill Morehouse.
Well, I don't know. Has he called yet?
Okay, say goodbye.
No.
Say goodbye.
Well,
Ernie
thank
Sanita.
you, Bill, for having me, and I would
Okay.
like to debate Mr. Morehouse. There are a lot of issues here.
I'm thinking
that need to be
I'm
cleared
with Mr.
up,
Julian.
especially
There
his-
ain't no chance in hell he's going to debate you.
Especially
I don't think so.
this petition.
Yep.
I will address it.
That's interesting. I
on
think
Monday night.
you
I'm
were-
going to have them blown up into real big ones for people to see.
You know what? I don't even think you have to do that. I think it's.
Just lay them out on a
I
table.
think it
Those
looks-
those are certainly abnormalities. In those
yes,
signatures.
I will approach
Seems to
the
me.
law enforcement.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sanita.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.